Hi there, boys and girls. Today we are going to be listening to a story called, if you look right up here, Mae Jemison. She was an astronaut. Obviously, that was a very important person when we're talking about our solar system unit. So today we're going to be reading all about her and about what she did for contributions to space and why she's so important today. Okay, let's take a look at some of our vocabulary words. Let's see, aeronautics. That is the study or practice of flight and aircraft. Applications, written requests to be considered for a program or job. I'm going to bring you right over here. Engineering, the study and work of using science, knowledge, and methods to solve problems in the world. Pursue, to do what it takes to accomplish something. Refugees, people who flee to another country for protection or safety. And last one, tragedy, a very sad event or disaster. Okay, I'm going to now kind of bring you right over here. I'm going to try to back you off my computer screen a little bit so you can see the whole thing here. All right. So just like we do in class, these are the pictures that I show you guys on the screen, and I'm going to start reading. When Copernicus was born in the 1400s, space travel was an impossible dream. Copernicus didn't even have a telescope, let alone a spacecraft. But thanks to the careful observations, logical thinking, and bold ideas of Copernicus and many other scientists before and after him, today we live in an amazing time when dreams of space travel really can come true. Advancements or improvements in technology have made it possible for human beings to travel into space. Ever since Apollo 11 first landed on the moon in 1969, more and more astronauts have flown into space. Would you like to be one of them? Okay, let's move on to the next picture. Mae Jemison's answer to that question was definitely yes. She dreamed about going into space from the time she was a little girl. And when she grew up, that's exactly what she did. In 1992, Mae Jemison blasted into space aboard the Space Shuttle's Endeavour. She lived on the Endeavour for 8 days and carried out many experiments while she was there. In these experiments, she carefully collected information about how weightlessness in space affects animals and humans. One of the experiments involving frog eggs. Jemison wanted to see if they would develop into tadpoles normally while in orbit. Mae Jemison was the first African American woman ever to go into space. In fact, she was the first African American female astronaut in the history of the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. Right now, boys and girls, I wanted you to think in your head, why is Mae Jemison famous? Just based off of what I just read to you. Write it down. Tell an adult near you. Why is she famous? Okay. How did Mae Jemison make her childhood dreams of space travel come true? Part of the answer is that when she was young, she read a lot about the things she was interested in. Jemison was born in 1956 in Decatur, Alabama, but grew up in Chicago, Illinois. As a child, Jemison was very interested in space. She was 12 years old when astronaut Neil Armstrong and his Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon. At age 14, Jemison was still interested in space, so she read many adult books about astronomy. At the age of only 16, she graduated from high school and went to college at Stanford University in Stanford, California. Education was very important to Mae Jemison. Education is also very important to NASA in choosing who will become an astronaut. While Jemison was at Stanford University, she studied chemical engineering, which is the study of chemicals or substances and how they can be used to solve problems or make products. While she was at college, Jemison also enjoyed theater, dancing, and playing football with her friends. She believed it was important to be a well-rounded person, which means to study and enjoy many different things. Jemison graduated from college with a degree in chemical engineering and African American studies. Now, boys and girls, the next question, once again, write it down, tell an adult, or just say it out loud to yourself. You can pause the video, okay, because I'm not going to sit here for a long pause. I don't want to make the video any longer than it needs to be. I'm just going to, if you want to pause it yourself, you can. Ask yourself, what kinds of characteristics and skills do you think made Jemison a good candidate to be working for NASA? Remember, NASA is the administration to go into for working to go to outer space. Okay. Besides wanting to be an astronaut, Mae Jemison also wanted to be a biomedical engineer. Biomedical engineers seek new ways to use technology to improve healthcare for people. When Jemison graduated from college, she thought about applying right away to NASA to become an astronaut, but decided to go to medical school first. In medical school, she traveled around the world, providing medical care to people living in developing countries. Now, boys and girls, if you're wondering what is a developing country, that is a country where most people don't have a lot of money or resources, and they don't have those little basic things to live a healthy life, such as good food, having health care, like having a doctor to go to, clean water, and sometimes even an education. As a medical school student, Jemison traveled to Kenya in Africa, where she helped with community medicine projects in a very difficult area. Jemison also traveled to Thailand in Asia to care for refugees from Cambodia. After Jemison graduated from medical school, she worked for the Peace Corps for more than 2 years. The Peace Corps is a U.S. governmental organization that sends volunteers to assist people in developing countries. In the Peace Corps, Jemison was responsible for the health of Peace Corps volunteers working in West Africa. Okay. In 1985, Mae Jemison decided the time was right to pursue her dream of space travel. She applied to NASA to become an astronaut, but soon afterward, in January 1986, NASA suffered a terrible tragedy in its space shuttle program. The Space Shuttle Challenger burst into flames a little over a minute after it was launched. After this tragedy, all astronaut applications, including Jemison's, were postponed, meaning that NASA was not accepting any applications for new astronauts for a time. After NASA reopened the astronaut application program, Jemison found out she was chosen to be an astronaut in 1987. In 1992, after completing her space shuttle mission aboard the Endeavour, Jemison was famous. She was the first African American woman to go into space. Jemison retired from NASA in 1993 to pursue some of the other dreams. Jemison has used her fame as a launch pad to bring important issues into the public spotlight. She founded an international science camp called the Earth We Share. Students at the international camp work to help solve current global problems by using science and technology. She also started her own company, which seeks to develop technologies that benefit planet Earth and the people who live on it. But most of all, Jemison is a great example of how important it is to follow your many dreams. Mae Jemison is living proof that your dreams can literally take you out of this world. Mae Jemison is just one of many astronomers who have added to our knowledge and understanding of space and the universe. For thousands of years, humans have been curious about the celestial bodies and what lies beyond the Earth. Even now, there are man-made satellites, spacecraft, and even scientists in space performing experiments, gathering information, and taking pictures. Last photo. What discoveries are yet to come? As we come to the end of our space journey together, there is still one question. What's next? As we learn more and more about our world, there could be a thrilling discovery waiting right around the corner. Will you be the next great scientist to contribute to the work of other scientists who have come before you? Will you become an astronaut and set foot on another planet or moon? Will you discover a new celestial body, a new galaxy, or a new way of thinking about our world? What's next? Okay, boys and girls, after you have done finished listening to me read our story, I want you to make sure you go on to the Google Forms that are listed for you. Today you're going to be working on making a timeline of some of the events of today's story, as well as some of the events, well, mostly I'm going to say today's story, the events of Mae Jemison's life. And I also want you to be paying attention to the comprehension questions. That means the questions that you need to go back into the story to find the answer to. I'll also be putting up a slideshow of all the pictures, so you have these all of them, so you don't have to go back into this video and keep stopping it every time you need to see a picture. All right, boys and girls, and I'm sorry, Miss Wicks keeps forgetting everything today. Also, we'll put up the words of the story, so you have that as well. All right, I hope you guys are sticking in there, not going too stir crazy, staying inside, hopefully in a little fresh air, playing outside, maybe in your backyards or front yards. I miss all of you guys so much. We are on week 6. I hope everything's okay. And you guys are doing well on all of your assignments. So far, so good on my end from what I can see. Message me on Google Classroom if you have any questions. Bye-bye.